that YouTube, guys. We just watched X-Men 97 episode 10, and man, that was crazy. That went in a totally different direction than I thought it was going to go in.
Yep.
I
But
mean,
we did get to see Apocalypse, though.
we did get to see Apocalypse. I was right about that. I was right that we got to see Apocalypse because I knew that, and it makes sense because more than likely, Wolverine is with them. So I bet you he's going to help him. Yeah. But this is the young Apocalypse. This is Ensabah Nor. So this is back when he was still, not as powerful as he was when he becomes Apocalypse. And not only that, but like, he had his mother as well, and she was in the episode. I think she's either somewhere else or she's dead already. But it's interesting that they put them in this time paradox where half the team is in the future, and not only that, but they're in the future that Cable had been sent to.
Yes,
because you saw Nathan Summers. So it's like, oh shit, which he must. This must be happening in real time because otherwise, Cable would have mentioned that he saw his parents come to him when he was a child. Correct. So this is all happening, like and it's like happening, now, now they're seeing his upbringing.
It's something what he went through. It's something the Cable we've seen thus far didn't experience in his life. Is pretty much what we're saying here. Mm-hmm. Now the interesting thing will be is while we're on this point of them in the year I think it was 3960 or 36. I think it was 3960. Is where they showed up and they saw the young thing. Now the question is that we found out here because Bastion asked the older Cable, how many times did you try to save your mother? And he said 200 times. Sinister forced him to tell him. And so I wonder if we could possibly in season 2, if they're going to be with Nathan as a child, who's to say that they're not there long enough for a time jump? Meaning a time jump for us where they're there for X number of years where he eventually starts to grow up and they know that event happens. Do we try to go back and fix Genosha even though we know it's a fixed point in time, right? Or do we try to go back and fix something else?
I don't think Genosha is going to be in the cards at all. I think
I don't think it will either, but I think it's still potentially on the table.
Because now they're trying to get back to their reality and their time. And so now they're going to have to see, they're essentially going to be there for the beginning of Apocalypse. Now, in the original X-Men series, they encountered him, already, but I don't even know. Is that connected to this series? I think it is. Yeah, it is because they ended with the same ending. Yeah. But I don't think they know it's him yet because this is a much younger version of him, and maybe they, once they do figure out it is him, that they're going to try and teach him differently. Like, hey, let's help him become a good guy this time. Who knows? But the fact that they're including Apocalypse right off the bat, I love it. I absolutely love it. He's like my favorite villain of the X-Men, and just the fact that he's there is badass. Now, and then they go to the future, and you're gonna see Nathan Summers' upbringing and kind of like what he went through and how he became who he was. Now, there's a whole lot of hints as well. A whole lot of hints that were given in the intro to this episode. We saw Cable fighting Apocalypse. So I think that in Cable's future, Apocalypse is the main bad guy because we saw that there is a future in which Apocalypse is reigning terror over the world. Like instead of the Sentinels, it's Apocalypse, and that's the future that Cable comes from. And so I think that's what we're going to see is that you're going to see Apocalypse being created in the past, and then in the future, what becomes of Apocalypse. So they're going to be able to kind of interact with each other through Apocalypse then and now. I think it's going to be really interesting to see, how the story kind of develops.
Well, yeah, you also mentioned we're making the assumption Wolverine is with that core group, right? Obviously, we didn't see him. He was on the medical table, but the whole team was there except for Scott and Jean, and it made sense for Scott and Jean to be with Nathan. As far as once we saw that, okay, it makes sense why those two are there and the rest of the team is somewhere else. Because to your point, this is where we could start to see the the help Apocalypse attempts to give Wolverine to get his adamantium back at some point in season 2.
What's up, Phil?
What's up? But there was a point there. I when the taking a step back into the episode a little bit, when Rogue went rogue, her rage mode on Sinister, or sorry, not Sinister, but Bastion. I for a moment there, I thought, yep, when he was choking her, and it looked like for a brief moment she was gonna end right there. He was gonna take her out, but obviously,
I was like, oh,
but it really made you think, okay, is Rogue gonna die here? But then obviously Sunspot saved her. And I thought it was really, but to your point on Apocalypse, I thought it was really smart to bring him in now, let you know what the team will be potentially facing in season 2 versus having you wait until season 2 to find out what's going to happen. Right, this really starts to set the stage for what to expect.
Well, not only that, but it's like now you have a telepath in Jean Grey. It's in the future, and you have a very strong telepath in Charles Xavier, who's in the past. So I think, it could be a case where they're going to be able to communicate with each other eventually through time. And now you have, the cause and effect of whatever happens in the past with Apocalypse is going to affect whatever happens in the future as well. So how do we, what do they do in the past to help fix that future? It's going to be interesting to see what they do, because I think we can already make the assumption that that's already happening, because if they're in 3000 BC, whatever they're doing whatever they've already done, Cyclops and Jean are already dealing with the effects of. So I think it's going to be kind of a reverse where Cyclops, if that does happen, if there is a way for those two to connect through time, to say, hey, this is how the world is in 3960. Right. So then the Charles, Magneto, and the team can alter whatever happens where they're at to then change the future for them wherever, obviously where they're at. Right. So I think it would have to actually go backwards in order for that change to take place. But I thought it was a great finale. I'm not disappointed in the finale at all. I thought it was great. Again, we saw another episode also where Nightcrawler got a lot more involved, especially in the final battle, which was good. They haven't really been hiding him back in the last few episodes, especially in the 3-part finale. So I thought that was good to see. And let's just mention real quick the cameos. The ones I saw, at least, I'm sure you may have saw some more than I didn't see. We saw Daredevil, we saw Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Black Panther. We saw the true Psylocke, not Morph turning into Psylocke. Captain America we saw again, but we also saw, I don't know if you caught it, we saw Morph turn into Reed Richards just briefly. Yeah, I saw that. Good.
But I don't know if there were any ones that I didn't catch that maybe you caught. But those are the ones I caught.
Silver Samurai was there. We got to see, there was a lot of them too. Obviously Iron Man was there, Captain America was there, and I kind of wanted to see them in action, like take on those Sentinels, but of course they didn't. They just kind of stood there like, oh shit.
Well, I guess we'll die.
Yeah. Well,
but we mentioned this with the Spider-Man cameo. It's good to
yes,
to see, and still
feels right. Doctor Strange was operating on somebody that was pretty badass. I was like, holy shit. And again,
the fact that these worlds are that this is the same world, right? That's I think the thing we talked about a few episodes back when we saw Spider-Man, that it's good that they're showing that this is all happening within that same spectrum, right? So
right. And there was a lot of cameos, and again, I think it's just to establish that this is a bigger universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the full-on Marvel universe, and I think that's really cool. This is not just a universe where it's just about and that was Peter and MJ. Yes, they were looking at the TVs. Same with Cloak and Dagger as well. That was their name. I was like, who was that? We saw Black Panther.
Yep, Black Panther.
We saw him twice actually. That was cool. I got to see a little bit of Wakanda as well. And that's awesome, because it's just showing that it's a full-fledged universe, a Marvel universe, and I really like that, and I like how a lot of them had their classic looks too, which is like, it's just badass. I love it.
I think that's the thing, is the classic look is something I appreciate. That again, he didn't have to give him that classic look, but he did. And obviously there was a rationale for it. So I appreciate the fact that
but I liked it because it differentiates this world from what you've seen on, Earth 616.
Yes.
If you would have had the same Black Panther suit, that we saw in live action, it wouldn't have hit as well. It just would have been like, oh, look, there's T'Challa, he's alive. But now you saw, the classic look of Black Panther. I thought that was really cool. I like that touch that he did. That was really cool. Guys, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you check out Nicotina.net. That is your one-stop shop for all three of my channels, and you can join the community for this channel as well, the Nicotina Show. Sean's in there as well. I'm in there, and we'll be dropping stuff. News, movie news, stuff about X-Men, all that stuff. So definitely check out Nicotina.net and join the community for the Nicotina Show. If you want to become a member, memberships are now fully available, and you can join right now. Go to Nicotina.net, and then you can choose to join the Nicotina Show and become a member. I really appreciate everyone who does that, but make sure, if you're going to do anything, go to Nicotina.net. That's where all the content will be located. And if you download the Collab app, you can access everything from your mobile device. It's really, really cool. Definitely check that out. But I think that this really sets things up for a really spectacular season 2. They definitely went away from what I thought they were going to do, and it doesn't surprise me too, because Bo DeMaio does such a good job at intertwining storylines.
Yeah.
And right when you think they're going to go with the storyline, they then kind of twist it into, weave it into a new storyline or a different one from the comics. And so now they're in the past, and Jean and Cyclops are in the future with a young Nathan. It's going to be really cool to see where they go. And I think, when it comes to Wolverine, I mean, look, it wasn't nearly as violent as I thought it was going to be compared to how it was in the comics. He just looked kind of banged up, and they're just like, it's okay, just heal. I think he will heal, but I mean, he got the adamantium ripped out of him, so I think everything will be bone with him by the time he wakes up.
They practically told him, come on, get up. You're not hurt.
I know. I was like, Jesus Christ.
It's like, hey, I mean, let the guy take a break. I mean, come on. He's been through.
Yeah, give him a glass of water or something.
Yeah, give him some milk.
A couple of Tylenol. I mean, come on. I mean, this guy went through hell.
But with the fact that we have two different timelines, it almost feels like where we had the Forged Storm brief story in a couple episodes, and then we had the rest of the X-Men story happening. This obviously is going to set it up to what season 2 is probably going to look like, where we may have one episode solely focused on what's happening in 3000 BC, and then another episode what's happening in 3960 AD, and then maybe like an episode where it splits, right, where we're kind of jumping back and forth between the timelines to see what's happening on both sides, right? So it'll be interesting to see how they tell the story in season 2, where it doesn't feel disjointed, right? Where it's like, well, okay, I feel like I'm watching two completely different shows because of the timeline gap, so to speak, right? I'm sure they won't. They were very smart in how they did this season. I know DeMaio was involved with season 2. That was all pretty much finished and done with. It's just a matter of putting it out now. So obviously that a lot of thought, I'm sure, went into how that story was going to be told. I just don't want to, again, from a fan perspective, I just don't want to see a completely disjointed season 2.
Yeah, exactly. I hope they let Bo DeMaio back in the room, because this was a badass season, and I really, really enjoyed X-Men 97. T'Chaka, or I think it's T'Chaka, I think is what it is, or is being named, was a hype moment for me. Yeah, and that's T'Challa's father, and that's who was Black Panther, because they said his name. So that was really cool. That, like, it's, and it was interesting too, because instead of just having another T'Challa, it was his dad. So that was really cool. Caden says that he finished season 2 already. I hope so.
Yeah.
Because after that, they just should end it. No, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But no, this episode was badass, and I really, really enjoyed this entire season. It was so much fun, man.
Did it meet your, since this was a 3-part, I know we're getting ready to wrap up here, but as a 3-part finale, did the third part meet your expectations for a finale, like the last episode finale for the season? Or
definitely.
Or were you kind of like, oh, I was expecting a little bit more?
No, this was a lot.
Yeah.
I loved it. And where's Bastion?
That's a good question.
I don't know where he went. He kind of got imploded with the rest of them. And I was like, wait, where did he go? Is he there?
Well, so my interpretation of that, when they were like, oh no, come with us, and he's like, no, screw you.
And he got sucked in.
Yeah, so I kind of took that as hey, he's accepting his fate. He's like, yeah, I'm accepting my death. Let's do this. But again, that may not even be the case. We might see him in season 2. But and the other I think little surprise comeback was we got Bishop back. We haven't seen him since what, episode 1 or 2, when he took Nathan into the future. So now he's back, and obviously he's going to be helping Forge try to figure out where's the team at, and how do we get them back. So there's going to be a lot. Awesome. There's going to be a lot for season 2 to really cover. So,
and Avalanche Fan 88 writes, gives continuity with it being set in 97. Can we see how T'Challa can be shown without needing to recast Chadwick Boseman? Yeah, and it's true. It was in 97, so it makes sense that it's T'Chaka, not T'Challa. You know what I mean? Because it's his father. Because this is back in 97, so that makes complete sense. Which is why you got a lot more of like the classical look too. Which that was perfect. That was well done.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah, great season. Wasn't disappointed. I think season 2 will be a banger as well. So,
absolutely. I can't wait to see season 2. And guys, don't forget. Yes, X-Men 97 is over, but we're not done yet. On June 13th, we're back again for The Boys season 4 watch party. We're going to be doing the same style. We're watching the episodes. We're going to be doing a pre-show, watch the show, and then having a post-show just like we are now about The Boys season 4. Check out Nicotina.net. Join the community for the Nicotina show, and you'll get more information about The Boys season 4 watch party, which is great because if you don't have Amazon, no need to worry. You're going to watch it with us instead. Yep. And so if you're part of the community, there'll be more information about that and more surprises as well for everyone who does join the community over on the Nicotina on Nicotina.net and join the Nicotina show community. All 3 of my channels are on there. So, if you guys are sports fans of mystery and the unknown, or comic books, comic book movies, all that shit, you guys will check it out. Everything's on there. When you go into the community for Nicotina show, you'll be able to interact with both me and Sean as well, and everyone else who's already there. A bunch of cool guys, and we just talk about nerdy shit all the time. So definitely check that out. Nicotina.net, and also memberships are now available starting today. So if you want to become a member of the channel, do so by going over to Nicotina.net and becoming a member on the website. It's all about going to the website at this point.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to The Boys. That's gonna be
that's
gonna be. I mean, the 2 trailers we've seen, it's gonna be absolutely fire. So yeah, definitely join us. It's gonna be great.
And even if the episode, like let's say it premieres at 8:00 Eastern time, whatever, we're still gonna fucking stream and watch together anyway. Yeah, even if it's later that night, who cares?
Who cares?
Like I said, if you don't have Amazon, then you're fine because you can watch it with us and you'll be all good. So,
and if you haven't already watched any of the seasons of The Boys, try to get caught up. I mean, it's definitely going to help as far as going into season 4. So,
yeah,
I can't imagine anyone out there who's a fan of this type of stuff hasn't seen seasons 1 through 3. But again, if you haven't, when we start talking about season 4, I mean, there's definitely going to be some spoilers because we're going to do some callbacks to some stuff that's already happened. So, just be aware.
And also, and it's going to be a little trickier with The Boys, but I'm going to try to do it as well. If you are a member of the channel, you will have access to the link to watch the stream and watch it commercial free only on the website, though. You'll have a link to the private stream where you can watch the entire episode with Sean and I commercial free. So it's gonna be really, really cool. I'm working on setting that up right now, or not right now, but as the days go on. So guys, this was badass. Definitely check out X-Men 97, the finale. I loved it. It left a really good cliffhanger for season 2, and I'm excited. I want to see where they go with season 2.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Absolute banger episode, season. I'm glad again that they gave us a glimpse into what we're going to see in season 2, like who's going to be the characters, where they're at. It didn't just drop us off like we have no idea what's going to happen. So I did appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely, guys. That's going to do it for our reaction show. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching on X, make sure you follow my account on X, because we're going to be live on June 13th to watch The Boys season 4. So definitely check that out. And check out Nicotina.net. You can join the community for this channel, the Nicotina Show, and you can also become a member, as memberships are live as of right now. So become a member on the website, nicotina.net. That's the best way to kind of keep in touch with what we're doing on the channel. Sean, thank you so much for joining me. And I can't wait for the boys season 4 to be badass.
Yeah, man. Great time going over this season. Yeah, I can't wait for the boys to start. So looking forward to it.
Awesome. Guys, we will see you next time. Peace.